If you've been watching my channel for any time, you've doubtlessly seen me using a few different steel target systems when I'm doing my range work. Those steel targets are made by a company called TA Targets, formerly called Tactical AR 500 Targets. You'll hear me call them by both of those names, probably. I frequently mention the targets, and I credit the great folks at TA Targets for supporting the channel by supplying these great systems, but I have yet to do a feature video just about the targets themselves. Well, that's long overdue, and I'm happy now to finally be doing just that, and sharing a detailed look at these top quality shooting targets. The newest addition to my collection is the falling tree, actually a dual falling tree. The falling tree has a lighter rifle rating than the dueling tree that you've probably seen before on the channel. It's really only meant for calibers like pistol and light rifle, while calibers that are heavier like .308 won't damage the target necessarily. You'd have to shoot them at a pretty far distance, 100 yards, maybe even more, to get consistent paddle action. Otherwise, you'll get too violent a reaction, and you'd wind up walking down range a lot to reset the paddles. It's really meant for 50 yards and closer, for pistols and light carbines. There are 8 drops in total for each of the paddles before they drop free from the falling tree. The track on the system is CNC laser cut. After it's cut, it's sent out for a secondary hardening process. The track is actually made to be harder than the paddle, and the reason this is done is so that the paddle won't prematurely wear out the track. The paddle itself is 6 inches in diameter. It's 3/8 inch thick, and it is made of AR 550 steel. The front shields are 1/4 inch AR 500 steel to deflect any occasional stray hits. The hits on the shields might move the paddle slightly sometimes, but they're usually not going to fully rotate it. You'll see this happening sometimes when I'm shooting them. Falling tree is offered either as a single or a double. The double can be run as a dueling tree too. The single is mostly used for competitive use or personal training. The falling tree was designed to force shooters to learn their transitions while maintaining a precise aim. You'll also have to analyze your hits because poor shot placement equals poor paddle reaction. The dual falling tree that TA sent me is great for head-to-head competition between you and your buddies at the range. Adding the pressure of another shooter trying to beat you will greatly challenge you. Of course, the advantage almost always goes to the guy with the most magazine capacity. That paddle action is similar with the dueling tree, except that those paddles move from side to side, allowing you to keep shooting for a long time without anything to have to reset. Even if a paddle does get stuck in the center position due to a weak hit, the action of the other paddles moving will usually free it. You have to hit the paddles pretty square to get good action. Just nicking it won't usually be enough. Both the dueling tree and the falling tree are heavy pieces of equipment, and it's really best if you're able to set them up and leave them there for some extended period of time. If you have to load them in and pack them out with every range trip, then it often makes more sense to have a couple of the smaller systems. The Adap targets are awesome for quick setup and easy takedown. They're shaped like the little miniature competition targets like the IDPA or USPSA targets, and they're available in several configurations and sizes. The mini Adap target is made from AR 550 steel, and it can take rifle rounds from just 50 yards. You've seen it many times on the channel. It's the smaller single target that I typically paint pink. I love to put this one at 100 yards downrange and bang on it with a .308. It dances for you, but it never falls down. This is the 2/3 size, and you can kind of see now with me standing next to it for a little bit of scale how small this is. So you get this thing back, 10, 12, 15 yards, you know, which is the minimum distance you really want to be shooting from. And it's a pretty small target, so it does provide a nice challenge. It is 3/8 of an inch thick. It is AR 550 steel, and this thing will handle everything. It is rated for pretty much every kind of handgun round, you know, all the way up to all your magnums and even rifle rounds. You can shoot .223 at this at 50 yards, which is awesome. The larger Adap hostage target, that's also pretty in pink, has the white painted paddle that I usually refer to as the flapper. It's the one you've seen 100 times. It combines a nice sized steel target that you can do mag dumps at, and the small reaction target that forces you to aim carefully and maintain trigger control. You've seen me miss that one a bunch of times. There's a lot more to making a great steel target system than just cutting steel into fun shapes and hardening it. I first saw the TA Targets products at an outdoor shooting event several years ago, where they were set up as a vendor with a full display of their products. And aside from getting to meet and hang out with Tony Simon all day, it was really the highlight of my trip. There are a few elements of the TA Targets that I do particularly love, and to my mind, set them greatly apart from the competition. First is their excellent stand bases. They're round, which is naturally resistant to balance and tipping problems. The systems are engineered to put the weight of the target over the center of the base. And in the years of constant use, I have never had one even come close to tipping or even walking from its position. While mentioning the base, I'll talk about another favorite feature, and that is the integrated stick holders for your IDPA or USPSA or NRA style targets. They are the perfect width for the official match targets, and all you have to do is drop your sticks in, and once again, because the base is round and heavy, they don't ever tip over. Not ever. If you want to, you can even shoot cardboard with steel behind it and get the best of both worlds. Holes that you can see and measure in your paper, and the ring is steel for that instant feedback. But the feature I appreciate most, and the one that drew me in when I saw the targets on display, is the brilliantly designed angle that these targets hang. While I always allow at least 10 yards distance when shooting at steel for safety reasons, it's very rare to have any shrapnel fly back toward the firing line. And I do even routinely trust them to keep my expensive cameras safe from damage. The angle is enough to send all the fragments of the bullets into the ground in a straight line directly below the target, but it still presents the full face of the target to the shooter. TA Targets arrive to you fully painted inside and out, back and front, and with the exception of putting the components together for use, they ship fully assembled. They are seriously built, and they take tens of thousands of rounds of punishment without complaint. And you can even use them to sneak in a little bit of workout time at the range if you want. Okay, so for today's shooting, I'm going to change my pink target to a white target. Nothing against the pink. In fact, I have a whole case of the pink, so I'm going to be shooting a lot of pink steel for a long time. But the nice folks at Steel Target Paint, these guys right here, write that down. Those guys supplied me 2 cans, one white and one black, at my request as samples. So I am definitely going to use them. Thanks for the samples. And they also sent me this cool trigger, so my delicate little trigger finger doesn't get all worn out painting targets and can be used for the things that it's supposed to be used for. So I was really impressed with this pink when I used it the other day, so I'm really kind of anxious to see. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, simple enough. It pointed at myself. I was really impressed how well the pink hides with this high solid content. So let's try the white, see how it hides over it. A little bit breezy today. And this stuff just really covers well. I'm going to get the edges here a little bit. All right. And you should do that. All right, we're in good shape. We now have a white target, ready to go. I kind of like the look of that spatter with the pink underneath the white. Kind of a nice ghoulish look, isn't it? I think I might have to try some bright red paint underneath and then do white over it. Just for effect. That's kind of cool. I'm grateful to TA Targets for their support of my channel by providing these great target systems that make the videos more interesting for you to watch and more fun for me to shoot. And I'm proud to tell everyone about them and offer the Just an Opinion discount code. After all, 10% off on these targets is a great deal. And remember, they didn't come to me asking me to talk up their products. I went to them begging for them. I'm glad to have the chance to show them off in most of my videos, and you'll be seeing them hopefully for some time to come. I love having this array of steel now to shoot at while I'm sharing my range time with you guys. Which one of these is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about these different targets. If it weren't for copyright issues, I would leave you with Hell's Bells by AC/DC. Obviously I can't do that, but I can play the intro for you on the TA Targets dueling tree. Well, sort of. I never said I was a musician.